This is the Lido Deck, the main deck, and most of the food is here.
City streets, now winding roads. I can get you where you need to go, 'cause I'm a country boy.
This is one of those times it was raining. It actually rained several times. The weather's starting to change. Here we are on the deck. We're under the cover, just having a good time. Just sitting on the Lido deck with a glass of wine, watching it rain. Here's our little towel animal of the day. We don't know if he's a pig or a dog, but he actually looks like a pig, so I messed him up a little bit. He was a little bit better shape when I first started. These are really cute. They definitely are. I'll talk about what we're seeing here in a later segment. If I talk about it now, I'll be repeating myself. Not much to be seen here. Well, not much except the rolling ocean and the rails. I would like to lie to you and tell you that the legs belong to one of us, but they didn't. They belong to the lovely young lady sitting in front of us. We're sitting here, and it's our last full day on the ship. We're on the back side of the trip, meaning that we get off the ship tomorrow morning. It's the de-embarkation process, as the ship calls it. That's quite a mouthful, isn't it? Just as a helpful hint, you can sunburn much worse on a cruise than anywhere else. I don't know if it's just because the ship itself is so large, or you're just closer to the sun in that regard, or there's virtually no shade except for, well, there's shades in the ship, of course, but when you're standing in the sun, there's really no barrier between you and the sun. So anyway, just a helpful hint that I discovered by reading. I didn't actually get sunburn. As most of you know, your eating arrangements are usually sharing a table with other people, although we did have several times that it was just the two of us or the four of us. So anyway, but this last day, this morning, we had a really good breakfast. We sat at a table that was pretty well filled, and there was a little girl there. She was about 8, and she was quite a character. She kept us pretty entertained. She did something that I've never heard or seen done before. She eats her cereal with chocolate milk. So anyway, she was a real cutie. I enjoyed her being there at the table. There was a couple there, 2 ladies, and one of them got upset because she was looking at her phone and she saw that her 7-year-old daughter had made her a TikTok video, and she was missing her kids. I think she kind of said that it was the first time she'd ever left them. Maybe not. Maybe I misunderstood it, but at any rate, it was probably the farthest away she's ever been from her kids. She said her kids were her world, and she was used to always being with them. And then the couple on the other side of us was, in their 40s or so, and they had 2 teenagers at home, and they said, "We don't miss them." I thought that was extremely funny, we don't miss them. So anyway, it was a very good breakfast. I was kind of eating light, so-called. I had eggs, croissant, grits, and bacon, because I had a terrible meal the night before, my one and only terrible meal. It was lasagna, and it was that bolognese, or however you say it, and it with the Italian sausage. It was just too rich. I basically just ate the noodles out of it, and I don't blame them. I mean, it just was too rich for my older tummy. But it gave me terrible heartburn. So I wanted to eat light the next day. It was super relaxing to be on the, just sitting on the side of the ship. It'd be a great place to read, but we didn't think about bringing our books. I mean, we brought books, but we didn't think about bringing them to the deck. Last night, we did have kind of a bad storm. It wasn't totally scary, but it was a little bit stronger than anything else we had. That's super deep. Yeah. The captain just said that our depth was 11,000 feet. Yeah. This is something unusual. This is another ship. We have not, except for port areas, we have not seen anything else hardly besides us. We have seen an airplane go overhead, but here is another ship. I can't really tell from here if it is a cruise ship or not. It actually looks more like a shipping barge or something, a fishing barge or something like that. These pictures are from the musicals we saw. We saw 2 different ones. There was great music, great dancing, very colorful. We really enjoyed them. We also played bingo, and my daughter gambled a little bit. One of our comedy club pictures, the comedian, both of the comedians were pretty raunchy. We laughed and laughed. This last set of photos is us just driving away from Houston. The cruise is over and we're just on our way home. I don't care what I record usually unless I'm doing something super specific. Try to kind of stay under the, whoops, under the broken thing. Crack, I don't know why I couldn't think of it.
Oh, y'all ready to get home? Emily texted me last night and said your cat was doing great.
Can't wait to see Shane.
I bet she's gonna be excited to see us too. Hush your face.
What? What she say? What did you say? Not you?
Not me. I'm the one who pays for the cat. Buys her food, buys her litter.
She still don't like you though.
She does too. Mm-hmm. She does.
How do you know? She told
She'll
you?
come up and like nuzzle my face.
I don't think she dislikes her mama.
Hopefully Sadie's doing okay. Gonna get her today too.
Here's a picture of the cat we were talking about. Her name is Miss S. That's not really her name, but I can't really say it. Anyway, that's the grand cat, and their dog is Sadie. Beautiful Texas trees along the highway. We're still, outside of Houston, going towards Austin.
I don't know what some of this.
We were stopping in at the Buc-ee's for breakfast because we had to jump up to get off the ship. They want you out in the hall at 8 o'clock in the morning, so we didn't have a chance to eat breakfast. I guess if we'd gotten up at the crack of dawn, we could have, but we weren't really inclined to do that.
I know where to order them. I've been in Buc-ee's before. It's not like I'm a stranger to Buc-ee's.
You are a stranger to Buc-ee's.
This cross coming up is at Sagemont Church. It's in Tomball, outside of Houston. It's the largest one in the Houston area. There are 2 more that are pretty large also. This one was built in honor of a young man who died too soon. It was a vision of his mother. All 3 of these crosses light up at night. Well, as I said in the beginning, this is a bit of Houston and some of the surrounding areas. The roads were pretty crowded. We were probably still in some of the morning rush hour traffic.
As soon as we get back home, I need to ask my knee.
My daughter lives in the Austin area. Happy to report that my daughter's gotten this cracked window fixed. It was really a pretty bad crack. Well, my best friend told me after the cruise, she's been on 3, that the sunrises are especially beautiful. And I did not know that ahead of time. So please don't make the mistake that we did and not get up a couple times early to see a beautiful sunrise. If you're handicapped or someone you'd like to take on a cruise is handicapped, that Carnival did seem to have really good accommodations for that, and I imagine the other cruise lines do also. There was 2 bad things that happened on the cruise. I'll talk about the not so bad one first. We did have some very loud, extremely rude and inconsiderate cabin neighbors. At one point, the father, I guess, whistled, the kind of whistle you do where you stick your fingers in front of your mouth, whistled down the hall at his kids that were running, and they were way too big to be running. I was just really appalled. I'm like, what? So anyway, I didn't really want to be a fussy old lady, so I didn't do anything about it. But I found out after the cruise was over that you would complain to customer service and that they will let them know that there was a complaint against them. Now, the second bad thing, there is a morgue on the ship and a jail, and there was a death on our cruise. The person died 2 or 3 days in. We don't know what happened to him, but we were really bothered, by the death, and we hated this to happen to the family. The ship lets the first people off of the ship is the body and also the family. We had heard that deaths were uncommon, but that's not actually accurate because I looked it up after we got home, and actually deaths on ship are fairly common. So it may be because a lot of cruisers are older people. I don't know exactly. Here's a couple of fun facts. Food is ground up into tiny particles and dumped overboard, not probably underboard or something, but to feed the fish. The pool is emptied at night, presumably to prevent drownings because there's not someone up on the deck the whole time. Well, I hope if you're interested in taking a cruise that you get to go on one, and I hope I get to go on another one too. It was truly a unique, once-in-a-lifetime experience, and we had a wonderful time. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my videos, and thank you for watching. Also, thanks for watching.